Sometimes it's a little different. Men don't report it because when you try to report it, it's like, oh, she's a girl. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
But maybe you could say that same thing if a woman tries to report it against someone like Puffy, who might have contacts at the NYPD or who knows.
Yep.
We'll think all about this, guys. But this is kind of the statute that we're operating under. This has allowed women and men to come back and file lawsuits for occurrences that happened 30 years ago.
It's official. Diddy, he is bleeding cash right now, and not just cash. His entire reputation is just going down the drain because recently another lawsuit was filed against Diddy, and this one is by someone new. All right, y'all may not have heard of her, probably don't know her name. Her name is April, and she recently, in the past 24 hours, filed a lawsuit against Diddy, similar to some of the lawsuits that were filed in the past, alleging a lot of the same things that we've heard. And as I told y'all before, the floodgates were going to open as soon as ClassE won her lawsuit, as soon as things started to settle. And then once the video released, I mean, it was just a hurry up and wait game for Diddy because he's going to be writing checks here for a minute. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this article. This is by USA Today, and they break down everything that's alleged in this news lawsuit that was just filed against Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs sued for battery assault in this new lawsuit over alleged 90s incident. This is going back to the 90s. Almost 4 decades ago. Wow. All right, here we go, y'all. Check it out. Sean Diddy Combs has been hit with another lawsuit, this time from a woman who is accusing the rapper of battery and assault stemming from alleged incidents that occurred in the mid-90s. Good Lord. In April Lampro's Thursday filing in New York's County Supreme Court, which was obtained by USA Today, she claimed to have met the music mogul in 1994 when she was a college student at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. Okay. She alleges that at first he love bombed her. What? That might be a technical term. Y'all have to let me know what that means. And showered her with gifts and flowers. Okay, I guess that means just showing someone a lot of love and attention. But what Mr. Combs displayed as kind gestures quickly manifested into an aggressive, coercive, and abusive relationship based on sex. She detailed one assault that allegedly occurred in 1995, as well as as well as an assault sometime after the first incident that took place inside her car. Now, if you guys haven't seen or read this complaint, I've reviewed it. I don't have the document. Well, we're not going to review the document today, but I have reviewed the document, and this story is insane. This story is crazy on all fronts. And I think you guys are going to be surprised when we go a little bit into the complaint and get some help breaking it down as to what happened. But just stay tuned because it gets crazy. Let's see. She details one assault that allegedly occurred in 1995, as well as an assault sometime after the first incident that took place inside a car, which she says a parking attendant witnessed. Oh my God. These people are just seeing all kinds of crazy stuff and just not saying anything. She also says there was a 1996 incident during which Combs forced her and his then girlfriend, rest in peace, Kim Porter, who died in 2018 and shared 4 children with Combs, to take ecstasy and have intercourse together before he assaulted her. Oh.
Yeah, that brother's starving. Yes, sir, brother.
Lampros also alleges Combs assaulted her at her apartment in either 2000 or 2001. The lawsuit names Combs, his label Bad Boy Records, and Arista Records as defendants. Of course, you got to throw the record labels in there because they are not going to want this to drag on. As we mentioned in the last one, this dude Diddy is a monster. That's crazy. USA Today has reached out to representative for Combs for comment. TMZ was first to publish the news. Lampros is the second woman to sue Combs this week. Good Lord, man. On Tuesday, Crystal McKinney filed a lawsuit which we covered in federal court, alleging the embattled business mogul assaulted her in New York in his New York recording studio when he was 34 and she was 22. She also claimed he promised to help her career and later blackballed her from the modeling industry. Now, I actually asked an attorney about this statement here about the blackballing, and we're actually going to talk about the attorney here in a second. But when it comes to the blackballing part, this is going to be hard to prove. You're going to have to show that someone actually said, oh, because you're with this person or you've been in contact with this person, or they told me that I can't give you employment because of this. So it's going to be tough to prove, but knowing Diddy, I mean, he didn't care. There might be something out there. This dude is wild. Similarly, Lamprost lawsuit claims Combs promised to mentor her and help her by introducing her music and her to music and fashion industry executives, as well as assisting her with finding work, which a lot of these predators in these higher positions will do. It's play one in the predator playbook. The filing continues. She felt that if she disobeyed him, he would take away her dream of pursuing a career in his world. Mr. Combs would also threaten to blacklist her in the industry if she tried to mess with him in any way. Jeez. The complaint also includes several photos, including one of the two of them and a friend, which hasn't been mentioned by name in the complaint yet, but I think people are starting to figure out who the friend might be, at Bad Boy Studios. An alleged Valentine's Day card and Father's Day celebration invite. He was inviting this chick to his Father's Day celebration. That's a crazy. All right. Accuser's lawyer has represented others who sued the Combs family. Hey, shout out to Tyrone Blackburn. We mentioned him in the Little Rod situation. We mentioned him a couple of times, but hey, Tyrone is out here hustling, man. This guy's killing it. The lawyer for Lamprost, Tyrone Blackburn, has also represented other accusers who allege Combs and his son, Christian King Combs, assaulted them. Lil Rod, a producer on Diddy's latest album, accused the music mogul of assault and harassment in a February lawsuit. Last month, Grace O. Marcaid, hopefully I said that right, accused Kristen Combs, 26, of assaulting her in late December of 2022. This is recent now. Lawyers for the Combs family denied claims made in both lawsuits. I mean, they're not going to say, yeah, you know, we did it. Sorry, guys. Attorney Sean Holy said in a statement to USA Today at the time that Jones is nothing more than a liar who filed a $30 million lawsuit shamelessly looking for an undeserved payday. His reckless name dropping about events that are pure fiction and simply did not happen is nothing more than a transparent attempt to garner headlines. Well, with the recent video that was leaked, we've got to believe him. Diddy, I'm sorry, man. I'm not sorry. But when it comes to your credibility, y'all on the defense side, it's going to be hard to deny anybody that steps forward, especially if their story fits the pattern of what we've seen from Diddy multiple times. This man, crazy. He added, we have overwhelming, indisputable proof that his claims are complete lies. Our attempts to share this proof with Mr. Jones's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, have been ignored, and as Mr. Blackburn refuses to return our calls. We will address these outlandish allegations in court and take all appropriate action against those who make them. Well, yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough to make people believe you. Now, obviously, as we mentioned before, a lot of these attorneys, especially the claimant attorneys, would love to go to jury or would go to trial, right? Because they can have a jury there, they can show this pattern. And even if there isn't much evidence there, Diddy, you're going to have to write the check. So I don't know how much or how these actual settlements go when it comes to him putting the money up, him making sure that they get what they need and the time frame on that. But this man is going to be writing a lot of checks to Mr. Blackburn over there. So, hey, congratulations and shout out to Tyrone for taking these cases on. It's getting wild out here. So I want to go over to the lead attorney's channel, and let's give the lead attorney a round of applause. If y'all haven't checked out the lead attorney, man, when it comes to breaking down these cases from a legal standpoint, if that's something you enjoy as much as I do, you need to go over there. You need to subscribe to his channel, and I'll drop a link to this specific video in the description. But he, as usual, as a 20+ year attorney, does a great job of breaking down some of the elements of this complaint, some of the things that are maybe a little bit questionable, some of the things that fit right in line with what we've heard in past complaints. And he's going to talk here. He's actually has a co-host with him, AV to the 7th power. I'll also drop a link to her YouTube channel in the description of this video as well. And they are really going through and breaking down what's going on in this complaint from April Land Pro. So we're going to listen to a little bit of this and get some more information and insight into what actually went on behind the scenes. So here we go.
So shout out to Tyrone getting justice for Little Rod and all the other alleged victims. All right, AV, do you want to read this here?
Sure. It says Plaintiff Lampros begins this action seeking injunctive, declaratory, and monetary relief against defendants in violation of the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Law, Gender Motivated Violence Act, and there's another statute there from New York. This cause of action is timely under the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Law, that act again, that same statute, because it arises out of conduct perpetrated against plaintiff who was the statutory age or older at the time.
At the time of the conduct, which constitutes multiple sexual offenses. Oh my God. What do these say? Do these say anything?
So we've got some footnotes here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, guys, and remember, we talked about this on the last stream just yesterday. What is this NYC Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act? It created a look back window on March 1st, 2023, which runs for 2 years for survivors of gender motivated violence, allowing them to sue their abusers regardless of when the abuse occurred. Now
that actually expired in December, which were a lot of people were saying this is the reason ClassE filed. That was the reason Lil Rod filed as well. So y'all have to keep that in mind because that Protection Act is officially expired. But the lead attorney is going to get into it.
We talked about this. Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? It can cut both ways. Because if you are a victim and something happened to you and you decided for whatever reason not to call the cops, not to call the authorities, not to tell anybody, 20 years later, you wake up one morning and you say, you know what, today is the day of justice. This statute allows you to seek that justice. Without this statute, you would be prohibited because the statute of limitations would have run. What is the statute of limitations? It's basically a law that sets an expiration date on any claims.
Now, also, the lead attorney does not talk this fast. All right. I sped it up a little bit because there's a good bit of this video that I want to get through. So y'all keep that in mind, too. He does not talk that quickly. I've just got it on 1.25 speed.
They teach us you can't sit on your rights. No. If something happens to you, you need to hurry up and file suit, hurry up and call the authorities. You need to do something because if you don't, at some point, your claim could expire. So many claims of women and men have expired. We saw this with Bill Cosby. You know, he was allegedly doing things in the 60s and the 70s. So many women's claims expire.
Yeah.
Well, with this act, they went in and they said, okay, we're going to give y'all survivors 2 years. In these 2 years, you can file any claim that happened at any time as long as it was this gender motivated type of violation. It doesn't matter when it occurred. 10 years ago, file it. 20 years ago, file it. 30, file it. It doesn't matter. Now, if you're a man and you receive one of these claims, this is the other side of the coin. How can you defend yourself if a woman comes back 35 years later and says, you made her suck you off? That's what happened.
And that's the crazy thing. What if they have some sort of evidence and it's not true? Especially as just some type of regular dude. And I don't think in most cases this would negatively affect regular dudes, but I could see how it could. Because if the accusations aren't true and they are able to show something that might seem true, and it happened 30 years ago. I mean, dude, y'all remember 30 years ago, I was 4 years old. Okay. I don't remember anything from 30 years ago. And I can imagine somebody who was, I don't know, 45 remembering something from when they're 15. The law is crazy.
Yesterday.
as we said
We
before.
reviewed Crystal's claim, also filed by one Tyrone Blackburn. Tyrone is killing it. And Crystal said, hey, 22 years ago, Puffy led me into the bathroom, made me perform oral sex against my will.
Jeez.
I didn't tell anybody. I didn't call the police. He was such a powerful man. I did keep the bedazzled, jewel-encrusted jeans that had DNA on them.
Mm-hmm.
They're in my closet today, 22 years later.
Wrapped up.
And that kind of hurt me a little bit for the
Crazy.
husband, because she was married and got divorced. She got married later on. I would be so hurt to know that my wife was secretly keeping clothing from something that happened with another man decades ago. And
Yo, that's wild.
It was there the whole time.
Yeah, because you don't know why she kept it at this point. Maybe it was the memories.
Hey, yo.
That's crazy, man. Jen said, 30 years ago, I was 17. That's what I'm saying, man. 30 years is a long time. And they opened up the window, said, hey, if anything happened to you in the past ever, you need to bring it up now. You've got until December. And I think there's a lot of speculations to why this was happening because of, I don't want to get into the political side, but whatever was happening with Donald Trump. But anyway, Jen said, and I didn't know who Diddy was back then. Yeah, 30 years ago. I mean, even Diddy was young.
And then she divorced him because of all the trauma. Guys, this trauma thing is so real, and it has so many consequences.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk all about it. And it's tough because you can ask some serious questions. Why is it that you're waiting so long? Now, people in the know will tell you that it's not uncommon for women to wait to report things. It's not uncommon for women not to report things at all. Men know that. Men have been hit, have been slapped, have been stabbed, didn't report a goddamn thing. Now, sometimes it's a little different. Men don't report it because when you try to report it, it's like, oh, she's a girl. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
But maybe you could say that same thing if a woman tries to report it against someone like Puffy, who might have contacts at the NYPD or who knows.
Yep.
We'll think all about this, guys. But this is kind of the statute that we're operating under. This has allowed women and men to come back and file lawsuits for occurrences that happened 30 years ago. By a show of hands, put yes if you think that this is fair, to suspend the statute of limitations. And remember, the statute of limitations is there for a reason. Every state in the nation has statute of limitations. It's to protect you from someone coming back 40 years later. What's the problem? Where's the DNA? Some
Let
of
me
them
skip
have
forward a little bit.
years, 20 years. Right?
Skip forward
So
a
this is
little bit.
interesting. So this
video.
is what we are operating
There you go.
under, guys. All right. Let us keep it going here. Why don't you read this part right here? Just a little bit more on the statute, AB.
Yeah, so they say that NYC, and remember, this is a city, not the state. The NYC Gender Motivated Violence Act revives any claims against a party who commits, directs, enables, participates in, or conspires in the commission of a crime of violence motivated by gender, has a cause of action against such party in a court of competent jurisdiction. Now,
this is interesting. I don't know. I can't remember if he mentions this, but this is interesting because it says the NYC Gender Motivated Violence Act revives any claims against a party who commits, directs, enables, participates in. That's interesting. We're going to get into it a little bit later, but as y'all will see throughout this complaint, there are some parts of the complaint that show that Kim Porter, rest in peace, was actually involved in this. And there's apparently some allegations out there that Cassie was involved in some things that were going on behind the scenes as well. So, I mean, this act is expired, so I guess there isn't anything that could come out. I don't know. One of the lawyers will have to tell me in the chat if that's true. But it's interesting to see that anybody who enabled or participates in is able to be or is able to have actions against them. Interesting point. Mixed Chick Samantha is back in here, says Cali has opened the same law too. Yeah, and I think Cali's actually hasn't expired yet. I'll have to look into it and see. But let's keep going with the lead attorney here.
They list the statute there. The appellate division has held that SA is an act of gender motivated violence under the law as coerced. S activity is dehumanizing and fear inducing. Malice or ill will based on gender is apparent from the alleged commission of the act itself. Ammunition adheres when consent is absent.
All right, so this is just saying.
So again, I mean, imagine ClassE just got paid, right? She settled her lawsuit. Imagine if she was there while something was going on with another person, like example, one of these girls, and they could they essentially sue ClassE and sue Diddy? Because if ClassE was there and she participated in it or enabled it or allowed something to happen, essentially she could, by the wording of this, be held liable. It sounds like, I don't know. I know we've got some attorneys that watch the channel. Y'all have to let me know. This is wild.
Saying more about the law and who will fall in violation of the law. Anyone who commits, directs, enables, participates, or conspires in the commission of a crime of violence motivated by gender. Now, the gender thing is really important because now, I mean, you see what they're trying to do. If you're a man and you sexually assault a woman, you're sexually assaulting her not for, you know, who she is as a person, but kind of for her gender. You're attracted to her. Now,
yeah, that's a weird way that they put that.
Can you use that same gender argument when Puffy assaults Little Rod? Right? Little Rod, because he would go up to Little Rod and take his index finger and start giving him those rectal massages. But it's sexually based.
Also,
right?
the lead is very unfiltered too. So y'all bear with me over here. All right.
It's about the sexual
He just tells
act.
it like it is.
That is interesting because it says that it's based on gender.
Yeah.
But is the statute silent when it comes to which gender?
Yeah. What if they switch hit? Puffy's switching it up. You know, he'll massage Kim Porter's rectum and then turn around and do it to Little Rod.
Not Kim. Come on. Kim. R.I.P. Kim.
Is she going?
Yes.
Did he do it?
Oh!
So come on,
I'm
Lee.
conflicted.
Yeah, he's got to relax, man.
Look at Amy. Did he do it? Oh, we're conflicted.
That's crazy.
All right, but let's keep it going. We don't want to get too deep, guys. We don't want to get too deep. All right, let's go. All right, number 3. You want to read that?
Yes. This suit arises from the actions of defendants Sean Combs, Bad Boy Records, Arista Records, and a subsidiary of Sony Entertainment, John and Jane Doe's, there's always those, ABC Corps, 1 through 10, and their participation in the harm visited upon plaintiff April Lampros.
Man, they're holding
April
everybody
is a
accountable.
Caucasian female. And
Oh my God, stop right there.
there's the panties.
Stop right there. You know, shout out to Tyrone. He knows where his bread is buttered. He's like, April is a Caucasian. All right, shout out to Cassie. Shout out to Grimy Little Rod. No. April is a white woman. Somebody write white woman in the chat. It's a little different. All right, but you can do what all you want to do with Cassie, Kim, J-Lo. She likes Kim, but you know, she ain't white. Well, is J-Lo white? She's not Caucasian, but now we're getting too deep.
Oh, there you go.
Y'all know
He's
what it is.
getting
All
back
right.
into it.
April. When did we play this? Lead attorney is a Negro male.
Oh my God, I'm done.
Damn. Y'all see how when it's a Caucasian, you're like, okay, well, what does it matter? But if you change it up, you don't really see this in a lot of lawsuits, guys. You don't really see.
And there's a reason they put it in there, man. You know, you're able to relate to more people in a different way if it's a certain type of person. I mean, let's keep it real. Let's get back into the lawsuit, though.
Arista Records is a global music company headquartered in New York. Who's BB again? Oh, Bad Boy. Bad Boy music company, SME. Who is SME again?
SME is Sony.
Sony Music. All right, we're going to remember that. Sha-la-la-la-la. All right, jurisdiction. Yeah. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to the summary of factual allegations.
With photos.
Who do we got? Oh, God damn.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get crazy. All right,
yes,
y'all
Puffy, April
get ready for
woman.
this.
Shout out to the white women. Damn, Puffy. All right, do you want to pick it up right here?
Sure.
Wow.
Upon information and belief, Miss Lampros met Mr. Combs in early 1994, after the birth of his first son, Justin Dior Combs. At the time, Miss Lampros was a college student at the Fashion Institute of Technology, studying fashion design and marketing. To impress her, Mr. Combs would often invite her to Bad Boy recording studios in New York City.
Yeah, they said he love bombed her.
College student at the Fashion Institute of Technology. Says Miss Lampros, white woman, aka Sean Combs, and a friend in the studio. So, you know, they got the mixers over here on the 1s and 2s, and you got the arm around her, and she's leaning in.
Look at the Sean John boxers.
Sean John, all right. So let's keep it going here. All right, pick it up right here at 14.
Yeah, when she met, I think it says Miss Lampros, Sean Combs, and a friend in the Bad Boy studio. So that's the photo description.
And they have not mentioned the friend
Miss
yet.
Lampros shared with him her dreams of working in the fashion industry, and Mr. Combs promised to mentor her and help her by introducing her to music and fashion industries executives, as well as assisting
Imperial
her with
stats.
finding
You're
work.
right.
Now we have seen this over and over and over again. This allegation With Little Rod, it was, hey, you need to produce this, and I'm going to give you a $20 million estate. I'm going to get you some Grammys. I'm going to introduce you to all these people. With Crystal, even yesterday, Tyrone filed a lawsuit for Crystal just yesterday. And Crystal was saying the same thing.
Diddy
he's going to do this for my career. He's going to do that for my career. He's going to introduce me to all these designers, and my modeling career is going to skyrocket. Now here, allegedly, Puffy is saying, I'm going to mentor you, and I'm going to introduce you to the music and fashion industry executives. All right, what does this say?
Yeah, I don't know. And for me, maybe it's because I'm just super guarded, and sometimes I can just think the worst of people. If someone were offering me this type of opportunity, I would think it was great. I would appreciate it. But it makes you wonder, what do I have to give, or what do you want from me? You're giving me this amazing career-changing opportunity. There has to be something that you're going to want in return. I don't know. Maybe the question was asked in these type of situations and you just don't think about it. Or maybe you're just saying, hey, I'm going to do what I got to do. I don't know.
Happy Valentine's Day. Love you, Puffy.
Oh, there it is.
How old is this card? Y'all women save everything.
All of it.
Y'all women save it all.
All of it, including DNA.
How old is this card? Right? Let's do 15 right here.
Yeah, he hand wrote that one.
I see we're going down the narcissist route. It says, Mr. Combs love bombed her.
Oh, here we go.
He showered her with gifts and flowers, as evidenced by one of the cards that accompanied the flowers that Mr. Combs sent Lampros for Valentine's Day in 1994.
My God, I was in high school.
I was 5.
Amy was 5 years old. She was 5 years old.
Yeah, I was 4.
This lady saved the card. Boy, let me get a wife. I'm going through everything. I'm finding all your little cards, all your yearbooks. I'm going through it all. Let me find some pants, bedazzled pants, some crocodile pants. Them crocodile pants are going into the fire. All right, I know what's
burn them all.
Hold a damn black light candle. A black light.
Yo, that's crazy.
Hey, that's your wife. You would just bring up black light throughout her clothes.
I would expect everything. Look at what y'all women are doing, man. Saving cards from 1994. Crystal was saving pants from 22 years ago. Jeez,
that's
y'all
wild.
women are like, y'all save it all. All right, anyway.
Like a vault
16,
over there.
Mr. Combs went so far as to invite Miss Lampros to his first Father's Day celebration. The invitation to that event is below.
All right.
Oh, look at little Justin.
Is this Justin or Christian? Which one is it?
Justin Dior Combs.
Oh, is that his first one? Yeah, so this is his
He invited
first
her
Father's
to
Day
Father's Day. That's
celebration. All right,
crazy.
can you read
man.
that? You want to read that?
Dear friends, on June 19th, 1994, Bad Boy Entertainment would like for you to come and join us in celebrating the original Bad Boy's first Father's Day celebration. For this occasion, there is a dress code. No jeans or sneakers will be permitted.
Diddy loved them some parties,
will
man.
be held at the Capitol, located at 1110 First Avenue at 61st Street. The event will begin promptly at 10 p.m. and will go on until. Please come early to avoid any inconvenience. For further information, you can contact the offices of Bad Boy Entertainment at that number. Remember, the dress code will be strictly enforced, so dress your best. Thanks for the support. Bad Boy Entertainment.
All right, and so this is who do we say this was?
Justin Dior.
Justin Dior. Now he's got another son named Christian, right? Because Christian's got his own lawsuit against him. Maybe
Yeah, and
we'll
he
do
has-
that.
Oh yeah, he's got one.
Yeah, and he has 4 kids with Kim, I believe. And Justin and Christian are 2 of them.
All right, so what do y'all think?
Happy Daddy's Day. Did you see the bottom of the card?
Where is it? Happy Daddy's Day 1994. All right, and this is June 19th. Happy
Diddy,
Daddy's
Diddy,
Day
Diddy. Come on,
celebration.
man.
A month after the Father's Day event, Mr. Combs invited April to an exclusive. Is her name April? I forgot what his
April
name-
Lampros. I maybe.
April. Okay.
Yes,
let's remember that.
April.
All right. So a month after the Father's Day event, Puffy invited April to an exclusive Bad Boy party with performances by Usher, Craig Mack, and the Notorious B.I.G. Man, this is
Rest
like going
in
down
peace.
memory lane. Got a little prose right here. Says life is not a game. Only the fittest and the most aggressive will survive.
Hey,
What?
yo.
You
That's
look pretty aggressive at
That's
the Intercontinental
crazy.
Hotel, kicking Cassie down the hallway. That was pretty aggressive.
Dang.
Look at what he wrote, guys. It's kind of hard to read because it's slanted, but life is not a game. Only the fittest and most aggressive will survive.
It's crazy, man, to just look back at all this and see all the signs that were there. Again, we don't know what we would have thought if we were in that situation, if maybe we would have been able to notice this or not. But man, I like to think most people, you can just tell when somebody's off a little bit. I mean, even with Puffy at the beginning, he was doing so much for April. He was showering her with gifts, showing her appreciation. And when somebody's doing something like that, it's easy for you to think, oh, well, you know, they're treating me so nice. It's okay. It's not even worth it, man. Here we go.
Sleeping is forbidden. A second cannot be wasted. 1 seconds are lost, you lose, and losing is for losers. Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy. Golly. Bad Boy Entertainment
Father
is about
of
to
the
set
year.
it off. Jesus.
Wild out here.
Upon information and belief, what Puffy displayed as kind gestures quickly manifested into an aggressive, coercive, and abusive relationship based on sex.
Segs.
Oh my God. These acts were not isolated to the state of New York, as Puffy would fly April to Atlanta. Oh no, right up the street in the intercontinental Atlanta.
Now, that's where we mentioned yesterday that this is where some of the trafficking things can come in. And this is where it gets interesting, especially if you're moving someone back and forth between states. Not a great look, not a good idea.
Using the intercontinental, this goes back to like 1994. So how long was he using the intercontinental in Atlanta? Is what I was going to ask.
He's been having freak offs down here in Atlanta for decades, right?
Like 30 years.
Decades.
Right there.
Right up the streets. Golly. Acts were not isolated to New York. Puffy would fly April to Atlanta to see him, where they would spend time together. April would also fly to Miami to see Puffy at his home. So here is April at Mr. Combs, Sean Puffy Combs' house in Florida. Upon information and belief, throughout the years with Puffy, there were 4 terrifying sexual encounters that April.
All right, now the lead's going to get into the encounters here. It gets really graphic, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Again, I will link to this video in the description and in the chat for y'all as well, because this whole complaint is crazy. And we're going to break it down here in a minute. But I want to skip forward in this video and check out this part where Lead's talking about some of the issues in this complaint.
He did this to me, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to all the fame. You run your cost benefit analysis. You say he did this to me, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back in.
Here we go. Let me rewind to this part.
April was awoken by the sun peering through the drapes. She was nude, sore, confused. April quickly got out of bed, clothed herself, and left the hotel room as fast as she could. Months after the assault, Puffy pursued April. He sent her gifts, cards, flowers. He used his power and access to music industry events to lure April back to him. April was a hopeful yet naive college student and took Puffy at his word and believed that the first assault was a possible mulligan.
Mulligan.
And decided to give him a second chance. All right.
Oh, come.
Hey, yo.
What? Did y'all hear that? This is why would you? I get why, but let's read this again. April was hopeful yet naive. April was a hopeful yet naive college student and took Mr. Combs at his word and believed the first assault was a possible mulligan and decided to give him a second chance. And we're not going to get into it today, but y'all will see. Not only did she give him a second chance, she gave him a third chance, a fourth chance. Ladies, man, just run. Just run, man. Just run. It's not worth it. And if you have to find a different career, the opportunities are out there. This isn't the only way. It's
the possible mulligan.
Mulligan.
And decided to give him a second chance. All right.
I can't believe this, man. And it happens all the time. Go ahead, Lead. Here he goes.
Are we going to talk about this? Let's not even talk about it. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. All right. It was a mulligan. All right.
Talk about it.
Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing.
Here we go.
All of humanity operates under one principle and one principle only. Now, I don't know about Standard of Truth and all these other Christians or whatever, or Muslims or, Hindus or whatever religion. We ain't doing religion. We're doing evolution today. We're doing biology today. There's a biological imperative that every human operates under, every organism, intelligent organism. And it is the concept of costs versus benefits. Whenever you're doing.
Now, I'm going to let him finish. I would actually disagree with that. I would say it's survival. People just want to survive. At the end of the day, you're going to do whatever you have to do to survive. So I think that even precedes the cost versus benefit. But this is a great point too. I think you could argue it either way.
Imperative that every human operates under, every organism, intelligent organism. And it is the concept of costs versus benefits. Whenever you're doing something, you run a calculus. Now, there can be a lot of different things that go into the calculus, and there are most things you are not even aware of, but it's costs and benefits. This lady has just experienced a vicious sexual assault, and yet she decides to go back to him and write it off as a mulligan. She's going to give him a second chance.
Oh, God.
We know what the costs are. I'm not a woman, and I am not going to try to speak for women who have been raped. However, we can all assume that it is one of the most traumatic experiences that any woman will ever go through.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
So the costs are enormous. So if the costs are enormous, what are the benefits that she would have to receive to give him a second chance? It's not like they were married. It's not like they had kids. They had children. They weren't even dating. They were just,
Yeah, and there's a lot of factors that go into it, especially since she was a college student. I mean, Snappa mentioned it. He said that's some strong psychological warfare going on. Psychological warfare. I mean, you don't know how your life is going to go. You're young. You're impressionable, especially in this case. She might have thought this was the only way to chase her dreams. So there's just so much there. And it's clear that Puffy was taking advantage of his situation.
Flying here and there. So to take him back and ignore those tremendous costs, she must have been looking at tremendous benefit. Are you with me, or am I talking crazy?
No, you're good.
Now, if a woman is looking at tremendous benefit and takes him back, it kind of, where does the word victim come in? If you're running this cost benefit analysis, Puffy is a music industry exec. He has all these connections. He has all this money. He invited you to something where Notorious B.I.G. was playing, Usher was playing, Craig Mack was playing. Everybody's there, all the stars, all the money, all the fame. You run your cost benefit analysis. You say, he did this to me, but I'm going to go back.
And he threatened
I'm going to go back
too.
in. I was out for months, but I'm going to go back. What do y'all think? I feel bad as a man to say it, but is she a victim after the first one? Yes. Just because you go back with a man doesn't mean that, okay, he can just do anything to you. Yes, she's a victim. Is there such thing as being a victim with an asterisk? Oh, am I going to get canceled for this?
Nah, you're not going to get canceled. He's 1,000% right. There's victims and then there's enablers. And I think this is probably where you have to make a separation, right? Because it happens the first time. We mentioned the other day. Okay, that's an incident, and you have to decide what you're going to do from that point on. Now, if you make a decision a second time, a third time, a fourth time, now you can't keep putting your hand on the stove. All right, and we know the stove is hot. We know Diddy is a monster. We know you got threatened. Your career could be at stake, but what's the cost? Is it worth it for you to go back second, third, fourth time? I mean, I love what I do here, but I don't know, man. I don't know. What are y'all going to do if you're put in that type of situation? I don't think we can even say at this point, because this is just so wild.
The first one. Yes. Just because you go back with a man doesn't mean that, okay, he can just do anything to you. Yes, she's a victim. Is there such thing as being a victim with an asterisk? Oh, am I going to get canceled for this?
So let's keep reading. It also says the word mulligan, which I just looked up. The definition of mulligan is a second chance.
Yeah. We're going to do it again. Run it back. All right, you raped me one time. Let's run it back. You're going to do it again? Because you got power, you got clout, you got fame. Guys, if you're getting, and I can't even imagine me dating Oprah. And Oprah, I'm walking through her 35,000 square foot mansions, flying first class. She's sending her pilots to come pick me up down here at Hartsville Jackson. And then she dumps me after 6 months, and now I got to go back to Keisha. And it's just not hitting the same.
Yeah, that's
now,
true.
I got to pay for everything. Keisha looking at me crazy if we go to the damn Cheesecake Factory.
That's
I'm like,
a great
Keisha, you're
point.
lucky you're fucking here, because 3 months ago, I was with Oprah at a Michelin star restaurant. You know, my mind has been expanded. How can I go back? If you are with Puffy, even though he cost you so much in terms of trauma, emotion, when you go back to a regular man, how can you do it? She was a college student.
Yeah, and not only that, but you think about, especially at that young age, if you have that happen to you, you have to think, and I don't know, ladies, y'all have to back this up. I don't know, I'm not a lady, but if you're going through something like that and it was done to you by this type of person who's at their peak, I could see how you could feel or think, okay, well, I'm damaged. I've been treated in this way by somebody who's at this level. And if this is how I'm going to get treated by the person who's at this level, well, at least it's by someone who's at the top of their game. I mean, I could definitely see how your thought process could think that way. You could think you're damaged. Maybe this is the best that you could do, and you just got to deal with it. And that's a part of life, and that's how it goes. I can definitely see someone thinking that way, and that's just, it's sad. It's sad that that happens, though.
When you go back to a regular man, how can you do it? She was a college student. Imagine going from Puffy to a damn broke college student. Some 22, 21-year-old, he ain't got nothing. When Puffy starts coming back, she sees all the benefits again. Guys, don't get me to talking. Don't get me to breaking this shit down. All right, let's keep it going. 35. Speak it up from here.
April agreed to meet with Diddy to discuss the business opportunities.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Oh, I didn't even read this. What?
Busted.
What? Did y'all hear what I just said about cost benefit analysis?
She wanted to make it.
You sexually assaulted me, but now I'm back. Why am I back? To discuss future business opportunities. As he promised. Guys, women in the chat, if a man rapes you, can you believe his promises? I mean, are his promises worth anything at that point?
I don't think they're not thinking about it at that point. They're thinking about, this is going to help me advance my career. As she just said there, you're not worried about that. You're worried about, all right, well, let me just, and I don't know. I haven't been in this situation. So again, I'm just assuming. I can imagine that's not as important as you getting what you need for yourself.
Lead attorney, you're victim blaming. You're not a woman. You don't know what women go through. I'm just asking questions. Calm down.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Calm down. This is a very nuanced channel, guys. And we have tough conversations over here. We really do. We support women, but we support men too. All right. So we play it fair.
Yeah.
If you are an intellectual person, you don't mind answering tough questions. You get a tough question, answer it in stride. There's no problem. Don't be offended by the question. That's all.
People love being offended by the question. So she goes back
to discuss business opportunities.
Can't even have some conversations.
Because his promises are good, right? So start off, read 35 again.
April agreed to meet with Diddy to discuss the business opportunities he promised, as he knew her passion was to pursue a career in fashion and music.
All right, stop right there. I never really look at the chat. Shout out to Amazing Disgrace. Amazing says earlier in the chat, people were ready to lynch Diddy.
So I'm going to leave it there. Shout out to the lead attorney. Shout out to AV, to the Seventh Power. Y'all go subscribe to their channel. Go check them out. The link to both of their channels are going to be in the description of this video. He really does a great job of breaking this down and gives a lot of insight into how the process is going to go, what he thinks the outcome is going to be, and maybe points out a lot of the inconsistencies throughout the complaint too.